Boys and girls, welcome to the fun.
What the I've been chasing bitches. Working on my wish. Yeah, I'm not fucking with the homies.
Hey, I thought you were a tech channel. Why are you reviewing cars? Because I do a lot of things. I even reviewed Nerf guns. Play a clip.
Hey, what's up guys, I'm back, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Dark Tag Fairy Fire.
Alright, welcome. This is a 1987 Honda Civic. If you squint real closely, it looks like a 4th gen. This, however, is a 3rd gen Honda Civic, which seems to be one of the least popular Civics there are. So, this current version that I have, and yes, this is actually my car. Yeah, this is a DX hatchback. So, it's nothing too special, but I think what's really special about it is the fact that it even exists at my house right now in the condition it's in. So, a little bit of backstory before we get into the features of this car. How did I get a hold of this car? Well, browsing Craigslist one day, and yes, I still use Craigslist. I am that kind of guy. But, to be honest, today, it was well worth it. Browsing Craigslist while looking through the listings, and I saw a Honda Civic for only $1,500. And went to look on it, and the first thing that caught my eye was the condition. Scrolled down a little bit more, and we were striking gold, 105,000 miles. And then we go to look at it, and it's in even better condition than the pictures will look like. It has 103,000 miles, so even less, and really that's about it. Nothing's changed on it really except the rims and the stereo. Car itself's in decent condition, could use a bit of upholstery, that's about it. We continue on and looking into the feature of this Civic. This Honda Civic is the 3rd generation Civic that was released in the American market. Now, of course, this is a Japanese car, but still, it was released in the American market. It has the 4-speed Honda-matic transmission, and it has AC, which was a feature. Yeah, that's how old we're talking here. Everything looks pretty nice inside of it. The floor mats for the back are an absolute joke. The back has the regular seats, and so does the front, but they are covered by seat covers. Because let's talk about the previous owner, and the reason why this car is in the condition it's in. The previous owner was a college kid that was in a wheelchair, and so the car was mainly putted around in, and it's actually missing the lower steering column cover because that steering column cover interfered with the pedals, which needed to have the sticks put on them so that you can actually drive it without using your legs. So that's a pretty big sad that it's missing that. But other than that, it has almost every interior part that's needed. The back seats are a bit worn, so are the front. There's a Clarion cheap stereo in there. Yeah. The right speaker is starting to make a bit of a buzzing noise, or more like a thump for the bass, like the speaker cap's starting to come off. And it's actually pretty decent of a car. It drives well, and it has no power steering. Now, what would be interesting about this is most people are going to say it's a pretty heavy car to drive. But it steers easier than my 2002 PT Cruiser with power steering. That's not a lie. I compared them side by side and tried steering both wheels. And yes, the fact is true. The PT is harder to steer than this Civic. Which shouldn't come as a surprise. The Civic is a joke of a car in this form. The hatchback only having 2 doors and being shorter than the sedan, while still being, I think, about as tall. A fairly decent car. Driving around a bit. It is carbureted, there's that. It needs to be cleaned every once in a while. But the power delivery is just fine. of things like driving a go-kart. And that's what I think made these cars so fun, what made people realize these things and their potential. It really is a fun car to drive. Although it only has 92 horsepower, which is not enough, but it's just enough in this case. It drives fine. The car is like a dream. The steering is so light that you could use just your palms, and the car is very well built. The only thing wrong with it at this point in time is really the turn signals. I don't got working turn signals. But we are pretty sure it's the relay, because the fuse was good, the lights seem to be good. That can only lead to one thing: a broken wire or relay. Either way, I hope to keep you guys up in speed with this car. It's a very nice car, but the reason I wanted to make this video is because not many of these are around today. I went down and asked a bunch of junkyards to see if they had a couple of these laying around. There are 4 junkyards in my area called Jalopy Jungle, a brand that's pretty well known if you live in Idaho. I asked all 4 of them if they had one of these generation Honda Civics, and only one had a single generation Honda Civic, and it was an 86. But there's only one out of 4 junkyards, out of hundreds of cars. There's only one of these. If you have one of these, just leave it alone. It doesn't need to be some insane ricer. I think this car is just fine the way it is.
What the f? I've been chasing bitches, working on my wish. Yeah, I'm not fucking with the homies.